If life was a garden, then what sort of state is the garden of your life in? Because the natural state of the garden is decay. And if you don't look after the garden, then you know what happens, right? It gets out of control. You have weeds, and then there can be a lot of work to do. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now, but I would say it's not now, it's right now. It's really all about just playing the game of life and making progress. And maybe now it's time to wake up and realize the ultimate choice. The choice of who are you listening to? And I don't mean my voice, I mean the voices in your head. And I actually said the voices, because maybe there's more than one. When you woke up this morning, these voices started. Did you hear that voice that said, stay here, it's lovely, it's warm, it's comfortable? Or did you hear that other voice that said, hey, come on, let's get up, let's go? Which one are you listening to?
Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible.
Do you want to be competent and dangerous, or do you want to be vague and useless? It is definitely the case that there is no more exceptional form of the capacity to be dangerous than to be articulate. And so it's a moral endeavor in some real sense. To become articulate is to become the master of your own tongue. Every advantage comes with a disadvantage. So if you're extroverted, you're social and you're positive, but you're impulsive and you can tilt towards hedonism and you can't stand being alone.
I want you to just think about you for a moment. I want you to think about your life. I want you to think about how you're living versus how you'd really like to live. Pay close attention to what we're doing, and you're going to find out what's happened in the past is the past. What happens in the future is based on the decisions you make.
It says sometimes you never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. I want you to think about that. Sometimes you don't know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. We're living at a very special time. If you can hear me, this is the best day of your life. This is the best day of your life. We've accomplished some stuff. We've gone through some stuff. You're still here. You showed up. Don't make light of that. We've gone through some stuff. And it's not over yet. I want you to think about, what is it you want to do? I don't know you. I can't see you. But this is not for everybody. This is for those of you that can hear me in your heart. This is your time.
If you continue to believe as you have always believed, you will continue to act as you have always acted. You will continue to get what you have always gotten. If you want different results in your life or your work, all you have to do is change your mind.
The work that you put in every single day, the mindset that you cultivate every single day, the spirit that you cultivate every single day, the work ethic, the dedication, the commitment, that's you, right? That's your essence, that's your ethos, that's who you are, right? Like I'm Ink. Like I believe it with every ounce of the word when I tell a cat, my arm and my hand paralyzed, my heart isn't. It isn't. Like my arm and my hand is paralyzed, my mentality, it isn't. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. We don't run. Every man must search his own soul. That's why that Martin Luther King quote, that's why I say like you don't judge a person by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge them by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. And if you ain't work, like when you work for something, it gives you a different type of attachment to it. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. That's why cats can give up so easy. They ain't got nothing invested. They ain't worked for it. They ain't sacrificed for it. Every time it get tough, they go blow weed. They ain't working for it, right? They ain't got nothing sacrificed into it. But when a cat work for something, like when a cat been sacrificed for something, well, you're gonna have a cold day in hell before you take it from them. Because they value it different.
Tough times, they have an expiration. And good times have an expiration too. So now you want to maximize. Now you want to get everything out of this moment right now before it becomes a memory.
Decisions. We make them every day. And with every decision we make, good or bad, our lives are defined just a little more because decisions ultimately shape our destiny. Knowing this, why do some of us continue to make questionable decisions? It might seem like the proverbial angel and devil on each shoulder who want to sway you in one direction or the other. It's a question of self-control. But what drives decision-making? Every decision we make is dependent on our values. We make decisions that lean toward pleasure. We also make decisions that move us away from things we've determined are not as pleasurable. The need to avoid pain and seek pleasure drives everything we do. People will do more to avoid pain than they will do to gain pleasure. What lengths will we go to? It all depends on our standards and our focus. Better decision-making begins with self-awareness, the ability to identify and express our emotions and thoughts. Learning what drives our decisions is the first step toward total control of our emotions and lives. There are 3 surprising factors that drive all the decisions we make. What you focus on, you feel, and it's what drives decision-making like nothing else can. Will you make decisions out of fear or out of positivity, hope, and love? Will you focus on the past and let it define you, or will you let it go? Every moment of our lives, we're answering 3 crucial questions. The first question is, what are you going to focus on? Do you focus on what you can control or what you can't control? To engage in better decision-making, we must shift our focus to what we can control. Do you focus more on things from the past, present, or future? To enjoy the moment and build an extraordinary future, you must balance between present and future, but let go of the past. The second question is, what meaning will you give to this experience? Is this the end or the beginning? Is this a punishment or a gift? Meaning is everything, and it defines the third question. What am I going to do with this experience? If you think you're being punished, you're going to react in a different way than if you're seeing it as a gift. You are the architect of your life, and the way you choose to experience that life is what drives your decisions. Many people think that what drives decision-making is a matter of self-control. But studies have shown that self-control is either hardwired or it's not, and it can be depleted. Therefore, self-control is not as reliable as our standards. Higher standards lead to better decision-making. Raise your standards or make a shift in your beliefs and values, and then you will make the right choices. When you have a decision, whether it's straightforward or complicated, you often know what the correct choice is, but what option do you choose? The difference between 2 people who make opposite decisions in any given scenario is their own standards to write that report, grab that cookie or not. It's all dependent on how high your standards are. Ultimately, what drives decision-making is also linked to the level of hunger you have. Achievers, those people who are determined to succeed, have a hunger for success and as such will make better decisions because their standards are so high. It's not self-control, it's their high standards that pushes them forward. Achievers use failure to push through instead of letting it push them down. Someone on the other end of the spectrum might blame their failures on lack of self-control, but they don't have the hunger or the high level of values to push through. However, these values can be learned. Raising your standards, values, or beliefs is not as hard as it may seem. Did you ever think about where your values come from? They come from other people. It's said that we take a little piece of everyone we have in our lives. You decided to keep the values and standards of various people you like, unconsciously modeling them and rejecting the values you didn't like. Decisions shape destiny. And right now, you may have a set of standards that isn't working for you. You can change them by consciously evaluating what drives your decisions, keeping what works and getting rid of what doesn't.